Did you know that Water Square had running water before New York City?
Alright, supposed to save it for the tourists.
No, sir. I'm not ready to go to jail.
Jail? What you mean?
It's illegal for unauthorized people to conduct tours.
Big man thing. I know I was going to show some toys around.
But they're not easy.
primetime news this evening, Integrity Commission hosts first press conference in years.
West Kingston tense after MP is pepper sprayed by the police.
And road fatalities spike in June. Good evening and welcome to primetime news. A very special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Anthony Love.
And I'm Janella Precious. Later in the business news, AI-driven threats fuel 5.4 million cyber attack attempts in Jamaica.
And Spencer Darlington is here to give us a preview of what's coming up in sports.
Thank you, Anthony. Spain is the first team into the FIFA World Cup final. They had a comprehensive victory over France in the first semi-final earlier today. We'll give you more details in primetime sports later.
I thought this is where you were going to say, I told you so. All right, blah, blah, but we're still saying le bleu. Anyway, there's also sports commentary and E-Prime in this newscast. But before the break, our feedback question, love.
And this evening, we are asking, what are your thoughts on the France versus Spain semi-final match?
You can share comments online, facebook.com/television Jamaica, and post on X at TVJ News Center.
Please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break.
For the moments that are best enjoyed with your hands, enjoy a KFC Big D Looking Good.
Courts presents their 2026 All-Range event. Be inspired at all Court stores nationwide. Come see what's new in everyday furniture and appliances. Up to $43,000 off major appliances. Up to 30% off furniture. Smart TVs starting at just $24,999. Be inspired at the Courts 2026 All-Range event. Affordable convenience for your home. Only at Courts. Bringing value home. Offer ends July 31st, 2026. Conditions apply.
Did she just A, win the lotto, B, get a low light bill, or C, get news that she can't wait to tell? It's C, because when you refer your friends or family to JN Bank for a mortgage, you could get up to $100,000 cash, even if you don't have a mortgage with us. If your referrals get approved and moves from house hunting to home owning, you get rewarded. So go ahead, tell a friend and earn from it. Visit jnbank.com to learn more about JN's Tell a Friend Mortgage Rewards. JN Bank will help you find a way.
Primetime News, brought to you by...
For the moments that are best enjoyed with your hands, KFC, it's finger licking.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com.
First up this evening, the Integrity Commission is providing greater clarity on its annual report that was tabled in Parliament.
At its first media briefing in years, the Commission addressed concerns about its lengthy investigations, high staff turnover, and the public perception of the Commission, among other issues.
Alicia Williams was there.
For the first time in years, the media had an opportunity to drill members of the Integrity Commission at a press briefing. It follows the tabling of its annual report in Parliament. It also came on the heels of several controversial investigation reports that had the Commission facing the ire of parliamentarians. First up, concerns about the time at which it takes the Commission to complete its investigations.
Complex matters will take a longer time. But what we're trying to ensure is that the matters that do not need that time are completed as soon as possible. And the kind of ballpark that we're looking at, as my staff would know, is between 6 and 12 months, closer to 9 months.
However, the Commission said in order to reduce the investigation time, the staffing challenges will have to be addressed. Currently, the Investigations Division is only operating at 55% of its staffing capacity.
It is indeed a difficult psychological burden to come to work, and every day you have 11 or so matters to pursue. Some of these matters are extremely complex and voluminous, and so we have to ensure that we recruit the number of staff necessary, at least to fill our establishment, so that we can continue our work in this area.
The challenge, though, is that the Commission is already having a tough time retaining its staff, so recruitment may be difficult. But Executive Director Craig Beresford said compensation is the issue. He said the commission has written to the Finance Ministry to revise their salary package, but so far it has not received a response.
We have found that especially our technical persons, they are at a lower level in terms of comparative than they were before. And step back and look at it. If someone is applying for a job within the commission and they can go to any other public service at the same level, why would you want to work at the commission when you have all that risk and the social media abuses to contend with?
Speaking of negative comments on social media, questions were also raised about how the commission has been handling concerns about it being too intrusive and speculations about the agency attempting to harm the reputation of parliamentarians.
There's nothing that the Integrity Commission, none of the divisions do with taking precise steps to harm any public official's reputation. That is not our business.
Next issue, the commission not having a protocol that states that when charges are to be laid, they are laid immediately or shortly after, an issue which has heightened public scrutiny. While not giving a timeline,
as it currently stands, there is no protocol, but I can say that steps are being taken to implement such protocol.
The commission also said going forward, it is hoping to have a media briefing annually after its reports are tabled in Parliament. Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Claims and counterclaims after West Kingston Member of Parliament Desmond McKenzie was pepper sprayed by police this morning. The police have since offered their version of how the incident unfolded, but first up, Kirk Wright spoke with Mr. McKenzie.
Videos quickly surfaced showing the Member of Parliament getting help to neutralize the pepper spray to his eyes. Another video showed him being consoled by the police after the incident. Mr. McKenzie said he hurried down to the community after getting calls from the residents that the police had refused to take the man they had shot to the hospital. He said because of that, the community became rowdy, sparking a confrontation between them and the police. Mr. McKenzie said he was trying to pacify the situation when he got pepper sprayed.
It is alleged that a police officer told a lady in the crowd about what she must do with her mother. And she, in return, repeated what the police told her. This is what I've been told. I didn't hear. That was the lady who ran behind me. And when I felt the woman behind me and I saw the police, I said, "Officer," I hold up my hand and I say, "Officer, what is it? Hold on." And without a word, he peppered sprayed me 3 times.
The MP says the attack on him was not by accident.
It was deliberate because there wasn't anything happening that would have warranted the police using pepper spray. It was only one incident I saw where a stone was thrown, and that was long before the incident. There is no broken bottles, there was no attempt to block any roads by the residents. So it is not the crowd was making noise because they were upset.
If the police say you were obstructing them in their duties, would that be correct?
The police can't say that either, because I was engaging in the police in a conversation before that incident happened.
Mr. McKenzie said he hurried down to the community after getting calls from the residents that the police had refused to take the man they had shot to the hospital.
I spoke with the officer, I walked with them, and eventually they took him out. Now I understand that the police have said that the reason why the man that was shot during the operation was not taken up because the residents were preventing the police from being so, which is untrue.
This is the Ebenezer Methodist Church here in Tivoli Gardens. It's almost 200 years old. And here's where the residents say the shooting took place this morning by the police. The man was shot and injured closer to the perimeter fence of the church, but the residents are disappointed. They say the incident this morning was unprovoked and that it has eroded the relationship that they've built with the police in recent times. They say unlike earlier years when the relationship with the police was rocky, they say it has gotten much better.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Now, in a police report about the incident, it stated that about 6 a.m., lawmen were carrying out a major operation in search of two brothers along Bustamante Highway in Tivoli Gardens. They say the siblings are wanted in connection with the murder of Andane Smith, otherwise called Del Perio, in the Kingston Western Police Division. Now, during the operation, they say they received information that men armed with guns were seen along Bustamante Highway. Police personnel who responded were reportedly fired on by a 24-year-old suspect known by his alias Top Notch, resulting in a shootout. The man was found suffering from gunshot wounds and taken to hospital, where the police say he's currently under police guard. An illegal Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol loaded with a magazine containing 4 rounds was reportedly seized, they were found in close proximity to where the man was held. Now, in protest against the operation, the police say residents came on the scene. The MP was among the group of about 200 people who the cops say became boisterous. The police report further states that in attempting to arrest a woman accused of assaulting a policeman, Mr. Mackenzie was affected by pepper spray being used in the process.
The Court Administration Division is reporting that more than a dozen persons were arrested and nearly $100 million in fines collected during last week's ticketing amnesty program at the National Arena in Kingston. In a statement today, the judiciary of Jamaica confirmed that several motorists were detained after failing to pay the fines imposed during the traffic ticket public day at the National Arena. 10 persons were taken into custody on Wednesday, July 8, while 6 persons were taken into custody on Thursday, July 9. The judiciary notes that these figures are preliminary and that data for both days are still being finalized and collated.
The National Road Safety Council is putting the country on notice after road fatalities spiked in June and July. They held a press conference today. Jamila Maitland reports.
Executive Director of the National Road Safety Council, Paula Fletcher, is calling for greater support from the government, opposition, and the civil society to help reduce the number of road fatalities across the island.
We need a strong political commitment. Matter of fact, that was a strong message. We cannot go forward without strong political will.
The council, during a press conference at the Police Commissioner's office on Tuesday, charged stakeholders to commit the same amount of zeal and investment to road safety as it does to major crimes.
In the same way that this entire nation, the ordinary man on the street, the working class, the trade unions, the professional class, the civil service, the universities, the church, the media, the private sector, the judiciary, and the government, which includes opposition, has been mobilized to successfully drive down the crime rate. We declare that a reduction of road fatalities deserve the same kind of national effort.
Presenting on the data for road fatalities over the years, Dr. Paris Leo Ayi says there are 4 holidays that show worrying trends. Since the start of the summer, however, car accident and fatalities for June and July have gone up.
So Christmas spike, Labor Day spike, Heroes Day spike, Emancipation spike. We're seeing that. And right now we're on the uptick and we're not yet in August.
August, because during the Emancipation holiday, it is usually one of the worst periods for road fatalities.
You're seeing in front of us, August, Emancipation. That was a peak period last year. And we're climbing, we're looking at August in the face right now. And we are climbing. So the concern is to see what's going to happen with us in August if we don't do something.
Head of PSTEB Senior Superintendent Lloyd Darby says the police have increased its presence in the event areas and along highways where speeding and driving under the influence have become the leading concoctions for road crashes.
The strategy is to go to the bad spots and to effect detection of moving violation, speed. And whenever we stop a person for speeding, we also do the breath test.
For the period January to June, the police have issued 72,079 speeding tickets, more than double for the similar period in 2025. They've also conducted over 7,600 breathalyzer tests. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Still to come this evening, 4 years after Cocoa Peace tragedy, residents are still recovering. And in business news, AI-driven threats fuel 5.4 million cyber attack attempts in Jamaica in Q1. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number one, it's called football, not soccer.
I've got it. Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that.
Sagicor Bank, supporting businesses to help them create the recipe for success. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
An essential tip for proper meat storage. Brought to you by
top quality meat, frozen veg, seafood and processed meats at affordable prices.
Nation's Choice, always your best value. Temperature check. Ensure your refrigerator is set to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius or lower to slow bacterial growth. That was an essential tip for proper meat storage. Brought to you by
top quality meat, frozen veg, seafood and processed meats at affordable prices.
Nation's Choice.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The courts may have handed down their judgment in the brutal killing of 31-year-old Kamisha Wright and her 4 children inside their Cocoa Peace home in Clarendon. However, 4 years after the tragic incident, residents say the healing is far more complex. Our news team revisited Cocoa Peace to examine life after one of the country's darkest chapters. From above, Cocoa Peace appears much like any other rural community. Nestled among the hills of Clarendon, where farmers tend to their fields, residents look on, carrying out routines that have defined this district for decades. But back in June 2022, the peace was shattered when practical nursing student Kamisha Wright and her 4 children ages 15, 11, 5 and 1 were found murdered inside their home. It was here that one of Jamaica's most horrific family killings unfolded. Years later, while the headlines may have faded, the scars remain for those who still call this community home. They say the memories of that day have never truly left.
That cat me to my grave. For when me look on it, I mean, no say Rez not coming back on this earth, you know. It hurt. Believe you me, it hurt.
The house now occupied by wasps still stands. However, time has left its mark, with the deteriorating infrastructure clinging on like these wasps to their nests.
Well, people come and ask for it, you know. People come and ask for it for rent, but it's in a deteriorating condition now. The roof leaking and all those things, so they want to maybe refurbish it or something.
Everybody still talk about you. When them man pass in a vehicle, them a point and I say, over the say 5 picnic them and wasp. Yeah, me feel it, man. Me feel it.
When at the time they said maybe they want to turn it in a place where people could come and have views and have a reminder of what take place. So I don't know what really they have in mind.
Roshane Barnett, who had been staying at the house, has been convicted and sentenced to multiple life terms for 5 murders. But some residents believe that's not enough.
You know, if you're in a prison, eat tax, government tax food, man, that's not right. You know, a family. I mean, don't know, saying I really, I say love the Ali baby, a little innocent baby, we don't know nothing. You just do him like that, like an animal. Come on, man.
The passage of time has not erased the memories. Instead, the people here say they're determined to move forward despite carrying the weight of a past it cannot forget.
If he couldn't rise up back out of the grave where them put him and come back, I'm my best friend, you know. I'm my best friend. Me no see nobody best friend like she. I'm a bona fide friend that, you know.
Jamaica's ganja industry is often described as a billion-dollar opportunity rich in promise, culture, and economic potential. But as the industry grows, questions are emerging about who is truly reaping the rewards. In part one of this special feature, Yannick Williams takes us to the roots of the crop and the farmers who've carried it for generations.
I've been growing cannabis for more than 50 years because I started out when at high school, you know, and I left high school in 1967. So.
For decades, ganja has been a cornerstone of Jamaica's informal economy, deeply tied to rural communities, tradition, and survival. From the hills of St. Anne to the fields of Westmoreland, small farmers have cultivated the crop long before decriminalization reshaped the national conversation. Ganja was first introduced to the island in the late 1800s by Indian indentured laborers. Over time, the herb became deeply rooted in Jamaican culture, particularly within the Rastafarian community, where it is used for spiritual rituals, meditation, and traditional remedies. But despite its cultural significance and widespread use, ganja was later criminalized by the government, remaining illegal for decades. Today, while the industry is valued in the billions, many traditional ganja farmers say they are still on the outside looking in. This farmer has been growing and selling for 34 years.
Cannabis has always been my life. I've never done, coming out of school, I've never done anything else. For me, the benefits, you know, has put all my children through school, you know, my life.
Advocate for marijuana, Ras Ivy says,
When you look at herb and those who use herb, whether they smoke it, whether they juice it, whether they boil from tea, you know, then get something from herb that technically you don't get any from anything else. And as a youth, grassroots youth, working class background, I was exposed to smoking herb from way back maybe about 7. And, you know, so experiencing it, I got something, there was a calm, there was a confidence, there was something about herb.
Meanwhile, cannabis advocate Dr. Knife says the plant has been a regular part of Jamaica's consumption and culture.
Because of Rastafari and other liberty as well, ganja has been a regular part of our consumption habit. And so it is not like a regular product. So then how do you create a business model which appreciates the culture of the plant, but also allows you to transition into a commercial practice? That requires a lot of work, and a lot of work in terms of mapping out what the industry is going to be like.
Since Jamaica decriminalized small amounts of marijuana in 2015 and created a regulated medical cannabis industry, licensing has become key to operating legally and making profits. But some farmers say even after decriminalizing, they are still being targeted.
I still have restrictions, yes. Because now and again, you still can lose based on what you do. Because traveling with weed with a certain amount can still put you in trouble. You know, so you have to really basically know what you're doing.
Dr. Knife says the plant might be illegal, but Jamaica is the only place ganja is free.
Ganja is not just a regular commodity. Ganja is what is called a cultural commodity. It's a part of the Jamaican cultural landscape and by extension the Caribbean. And therefore you don't need parliament to create legislation in terms of how we use the plant, because by our culture we create our own legislation and regulation.
So while Jamaica's ganja brand continues to gain international recognition, questions remain about whether the people who built the industry are being left behind.
What we get is just a fraction for the whole big slice of cake. So just imagine it's a big cake, so we only take a little slice as a farmer.
But on a whole, it is the people with the money who are benefiting from this industry at the moment. And it shouldn't be so.
Tomorrow in part 2, we speak about big business and the legal market. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.
Concerns this evening about the Rio Minho, Jamaica's longest river, as sections of it are now running dangerously low. As Sandy Williams reports, some residents have turned what remains into opportunity.
What was once a steady flow is now a patchwork of dry, cracked riverbed as sections of the Rio Minho shrink under intense heat. In other areas, water has all but disappeared, exposing stones and parched earth, clear signs of a worsening dry spell. For residents, the change is alarming.
When we river low, we suffer a lot, so we get water, we buy water from the truck.
However, just a few miles away in Moors, the story is different. The river still runs, drawing dozens of residents daily, not necessarily for leisure, but for survival. Bottles and pans are constant companions at the riverbank as residents collect water, some saying it's their only reliable source.
People beer the night, wash with it. Some people take it cook, some people drink it too. Because we don't have no choice. Some people have to use everything, man. Everybody in here have life, man. Because we don't have no pipe water. So the truck have to come and chuck your water.
If you never have no problem, you know, water, man, you buy water every day.
For others, it's a source of income. This woman is one of a few residents turning water into a business. The riverbank doubles as a laundromat, offering a service born out of necessity.
They can come out the river and come back for me. Can be done. Let me rinse them out, wash them out in the boat, and then dry them come back for me.
So that's what you do as a business?
Yeah, that we do for business.
You go for the water. I ever seen zero for the water. Because we don't have no running water as yet. And no water in a pipe.
And yet you still live near the river?
Still live near the river.
I still can't get it?
Still can't get it.
So with climate pressures and human activity continuing to reshape Jamaica's waterways, preserving the rivers that remain may be just as important as trying to restore those already lost. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Coming up later in this newscast, Trump scraps threat of 20% fee on Hormuz cargo as U.S. resumes blockade of Iran ports. We'll be right back.
Before the first patty is made, there are hands that raise it, hands that grow it, hands that move it, hands that bake it, and hands that serve it. For Jamaica, by Jamaica. Through challenges and changing seasons, they stood strong. They built with us. They believed. To every farmer, every team member, every partner, thank you.
Don't wait. Be prepared this hurricane season with the items you need from Quartz. Be ready for a leaky roof, power outage, and other unexpected events. Get the Pulsar Dual Fuel Generator for only $25.89 weekly. Plus, rechargeable flashlights with built-in solar panel for only $19.99 cash. Shop today with no cash on 6 to 48 months credit. Don't wait. Be prepared this hurricane season with Quartz, bringing value home. Offers end June 30th, 2026. Conditions apply.
Employers, your hard contribution builds a stronger workforce and strengthens the economy. It's not just contribution, it's transformation. The time by heart is...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The House of Representatives had to pause discussions on the mediation bill today as MPs could not agree on the meaning for specific terms. In addition, technocrats from the Justice Ministry were absent. Andrea Chisholm explains how one word led to the disagreement.
While doing its clause-by-clause analysis of the mediation bill, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck had two main amendments. One such change was to Clause 11, to also include a prison term. If a person offers mediation services or training as a business without being licensed, they could be subject to a fine not exceeding $1 million. If they fail to pay, they could face imprisonment for up to 6 months. There was no objection to that. However, there were differences in whether the bill should refer to an individual who is a habitual resident in Jamaica or ordinary resident in Jamaica. Mr. Chuck proposed to use the word ordinarily and not habitually.
The choice of ordinarily is a better choice. However, I just wish to ask the minister, ordinarily resident does have a legal meaning. And if the intention is to make mediation services available to people who are in Jamaica, it perhaps would make better sense to simply provide for those who are present in Jamaica without a reference to their residence.
Madam Speaker, I would like to stick to the ordinary residents because basically most persons who are present in Jamaica and who would want mediation service are likely to be ordinary resident.
I mean, it says domestic mediation means mediation, whether of a commercial nature or otherwise, relating to a dispute arising out of a legal relationship, whether contractual or otherwise, where a party is an individual who is a national of, or, and it would now read, ordinarily resident in Jamaica. And the concept of ordinary residence is really from tax law, but it has a fairly defined meaning, and it's being imported here because of its clarity.
The ordinary resident is going to prove problematic, and it may a participant may raise jurisdictional issues, and it could very well be that mediation is required for persons who happen to be visiting and is present in Jamaica. The problem we're having, if it remains that way respectfully, is that where persons happen to have conflict that is not necessarily commercial, but is between the two parties, that it would actually
Madam Speaker,
restrict them.
With due respect, presence is wider, so we can go with it.
But opposition leader Mark Golding cautioned that the changes affect the definitions for domestic mediation, international commercial mediation, and international settlement agreements, and so it could have serious implications.
Madam Chairman, I would caution the Minister not to make that change without getting proper advice from your technical team.
The clause-by-clause analysis was suspended to consult with the Justice Ministry's technical team, which was not in the chamber at the time. Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
And when the House resumed discussions a few hours later, the decision was to use the term ordinarily. The mediation bill was therefore passed with 2 amendments. Now, ahead of the responses to our feedback question, Dion Jackson Miller is here to give us a preview of what's coming up in all angles. Yes, we know it's Tuesday, but Dion, what are we talking about today?
Well, the same reason that we're having all angles on Tuesday, which is that tomorrow there's going to be a rebroadcast of the World Cup semis. That's why, in fact, we are talking about what we're talking about, which is, Log?
The World Cup.
The World Cup. There you go. And I don't know if your ties any indication of who you are bringing for today, but, you know, the blue people, them kind of blue, because France gone home. We're going to be looking at where we are in the World Cup, some of the surprises, what's good, what's not so good, what's been going on. And I have a feeling feedback question might be about World Cup. Am I right, Janella?
That is correcto. And yes, I am feeling blue, Dion. But hey, the show goes on. We have been asking, what are your thoughts on the France versus Spain semi-final match? And I can hear Rashida just, bragging in here. But anyway, Too Tall to Fall says Spain gave France a 90-minute lesson on how to play football. Looking forward to seeing the second place playoff tomorrow and the third place playoff on Saturday. We have another one who says, my team France came to the exams, marked themselves present, and didn't do the paper. That's how I feel, actually. We have another comment, and it is from Richard, who says, Spain best game of the tournament. Totally outplayed France. France look like wet bread today. Well soft. Do not be surprised if Spain gets another. Oh, Lord. All right, so you can keep those comments coming. What are your thoughts on the France versus Spain semi-final match? You can do so on facebook.com/television Jamaica and post on X at TVJ News Center. And a reminder that all angles will be digging deep into what happened today and what is to come, and that is after primetime news. Now, the business day and news from overseas are after the break, so please stay with us.
Primetime News, brought to you by...
For the moments that are best enjoyed with your hands, KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is planning to shake things up to improve its services for our patients living with diabetes and hypertension. We have started our pilot project called Chronic Care Connect. So what's different? When patients in the pilot go for their next clinic visit, they may notice a few changes. We're doing more to help patients better monitor and manage their conditions at home, including rolling out a new Jamaica Moves app that anyone can use to help manage their conditions. We're also rolling out a new electronic health record system to help the health team find patients' information more easily. For more information, visit ncvip.moh.gov.jm.
Make back to school easy with a Coors Ready Cash Loan. Get a free book voucher valued at $6,000 when you take a loan of $150,000 or more while stock lasts. No collateral, no guarantors. Make back to school easy with a Coors Ready Cash Loan today. Coors Ready Cash, ready when you are. Offer ends September 11. Conditions apply.
Business Day, brought to you by...
Tell a friend and earn from it. Visit jnbank.com to learn more about JN's Tell a Friend Mortgage Rewards. JN Bank will help you.
Welcome back. It's time now for the Business Day. The digital battlefield is intensifying, with cyber criminals turning to artificial intelligence to make their attacks faster and more sophisticated. According to Fortinet Jamaica, they saw over 5 million cyber attack attempts during the first quarter of 2026. Deidre Thomas reports.
5.4 million, that's the number of cyber threats detected in Jamaica during the first quarter of 2026. The figure comes as the country recorded 46.7 million attempted cyber attack threats in 2025. The report also found that Jamaica recorded 7 million active scanning attempts during 2025, with 2 million recorded during the first quarter of 2026 alone. According to cybersecurity firm Fortinet, criminals are increasingly using artificial intelligence to automate attacks and impersonate executives.
The number may share a different story, but it's behind the numbers what counts. Because of artificial intelligence, the attackers are accelerating the threat actors are accelerating the type of attack. They're very clever, they're very stealthy, and also organizations do not have the technical controls in place to be able to recognize those type of attack, because we're moving ahead into the age of intelligence or artificial intelligence. But at the same time, the IT infrastructure has not kept up with the current need for cybersecurity.
While the number of attacks fluctuates from quarter to quarter, Senior Systems Engineering Manager Emmanuel Oscar says the nature of threats are often linked to major events. One such example, Hurricane Melissa.
So last year you experienced a hurricane. Yes. Right. So therefore, if I'm a threat actor, you're vulnerable, and I will take advantage of that situation, because online scams, ransomware, and you saw that from the government advertisement to share with the community to be careful of the online. And it's not just here in Jamaica, but also the diaspora community that lives outside of Jamaica, so they do not get scammed as well. So then you may see an increase in activity, and then next quarter it dropped.
Beyond the disruption to system and services, cyber attacks comes with a significant financial cost for businesses and governments.
So when we look at average cost of a breach, it's about between 5.5 mil and up. in terms of cost for a typical data breach. In the Caribbean, that's global, but in the Caribbean, it tends to be higher. Why? Because our response time tend to lag and take longer. So therefore, the breach continues.
It's why the cybersecurity firm says organizations should treat cybersecurity as a continued process, investing not only in the technology, but in staff training. Deidre Thomas, TVJ News.
The JSC Index advanced by 3,352 points today, while the Junior Market Index declined by 4 points. The winners include Cygnus Real Estate Finance US dollar shares, Knutsford Express, Image Plus Consultants, First Rock Real Estate Investments, and Dolphin Cove. The losers include MPC Caribbean Clean Energy, Sagicor Real Estate X Fund, Access Financial Services, Consolidated Bakeries, and Cygnus Credit Investments, a teen stocks traded firm. And at the end of foreign exchange trading, banks and cambios were selling the US dollar for an average $159.14. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $113.52. The pound is going for $215.87, while the euro is selling for an average $180.74. And that's it for the Business Day. News from overseas after the break.
The Business Day, brought to you by
Tell a friend and earn from it. Visit jnbank.com to learn more about JN's Tell a Friend Mortgage Rewards. JN Bank will help you find a way.
Regional and international news, brought to you by.
You can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
We go to news overseas now. U.S. President Donald Trump has reversed his threat of a 20% fee on all Strait of Hormuz cargo shipping as the U.S. battles to break Iran's hold on the waterway. Now, Trump said the toll would be replaced by massive trade and investment deals with Gulf states just hours before the U.S. resumed its blockade of Iranian ports. It follows renewed strikes between the U.S. and Iran, which triggered a sharp rise in oil prices as tanker traffic through the strait has virtually stalled. U.S. Central Command said late on Tuesday its forces began launching an additional round of strikes against Iran to continue degrading Iranian capabilities used to attack commercial shipping in the key waterway.
And the Primetime News package continues with sports right after this break.
Regional and international news, brought to you by.
You can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Energy and win, where the people want in the streets.
The time by Supplegen is.
Every safe summer begins with one decision. The decision to stay close whenever your children are near water, because drowning is silent. It happens in seconds, and constant adult supervision can prevent a tragedy and save a child's life. One decision to ensure that you always know where your children are and that the adult who is supervising them is responsible and trustworthy. And remember, children should never be put in charge of other children as they are easily distracted, may be intimidated, or exploited by predators. And one more decision. Stay involved in your children's digital lives. Know who they're talking to. Monitor the apps they use. Turn on parental controls. And remind them never to meet up with someone they only know online. Children cannot always recognize danger. That is why they depend on us. This summer, let every decision you make be the one decision that keeps them safe.
Coming up in Primetime Sports Tuesday, Spain ends France's bid for a third straight World Cup final. And no Jamaican winner at the Gulai Istvan Memorial Grand Prix in Budapest.
Good evening, I'm Spencer Darlington. We'll be back with the details on those and more after the break.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Primetime Sports, brought to you by
Courts has what you need to make home yours. Easy payment plans using Courts Ready Finance. Courts, make home yours.
Welcome back to Primetime Sports Tuesday. Spain are into the FIFA World Cup final for the first time in 16 years after their 2-0 win over tournament favourites France in the first semi-final on Tuesday. Christopher Scott has our summary.
The FIFA World Cup Primetime Sports Report